We back. I'm peeking.
Are you peeking?
No. I'm peeking over at my cousin.
Oh! Why did you wave at him like that?
Hi, cousin.
It reminded me of this. There was this TikTok I saw, and he said it was like a whole bunch of like gang members outside, and they were throwing up gang signs and stuff. And then this one dude just comes out of the back and just like, they're like, stop waving like that. They just.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Comfort Level Podcast. I'm Maddie, and I'm here with
Brandon.
Now's your turn.
Oh, am I next? Oh, Joe.
Sam.
And we're kind of with like an internet celebrity a little bit.
Oh my
This is a little
gosh.
exciting. We have the next rising artist,
Yes.
beautiful singer, beautiful voice, Mr. Joe.
I was just sitting here like, who's she talking about?
I like how you were looking around
He's
and you're
like,
like,
who
so
The humble brag.
So-
The humble brag.
I know you ain't talking about me.
Like, moi?
you're like, this is weird. I'm the only new person on the show,
Oh, right. Yeah, right.
but she can't be talking about. No, I am talking about you, Joe.
I was like,
As I'm looking through the leaves at you.
It's quite the introduction. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Mad Money.
Well, today we're talking about a bunch of random stuff, but I think we should start off with, like, a singing story, something that you know very well
Ooh.
with your beautiful voice.
Okay.
We're gonna have you sing too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's okay. I don't even charge much.
But maybe do throw it out there just for us. We'll cut it out because they're not in charge of the budget. So,
Oh, well.
okay, we'll save that for another time maybe.
Yeah.
It was a sigh. It made me nervous. I was like, oh, it's a lot. It's a lot. Okay. So the first story is, am I the asshole for singing a song to my wife at our wedding and making her angry?
I need context.
Yes.
Wait, read it again?
Am I the asshole for singing a song to my wife at our wedding and making her angry?
It depends. Like, was it the thong song?
Dun, 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 dun.
It was Baby Shark. I know it was Baby Shark.
Just don't
Oh,
drop
yeah.
that thump it out.
That's romantic, though, if you think about it.
I mean, you would think it would be.
I kind of want to know where this is
Yeah,
going.
we gotta hear it.
Okay.
Let them cook.
Am I the asshole for singing a song to my wife at our wedding and making her angry? I just got married last week. My wife and I are both in our 30s. I'm Mexican and she is American, but we both grew up in the US and both of our families know both languages. My wife planned every bit of the wedding and was very controlling and a nervous bride. But all right, I get that she's stressed. During the reception, I went to the band and asked them to play a song for me to sing to my new wife. It was Te Amare by Miguel Bosé. It was the song from our first date in a really bad Mexican restaurant, so it became a long-standing joke between us. The guests really loved the song, and my mother-in-law cried and told me it was beautiful, but my bride seemed upset. I asked her what was wrong, and she said, I am an asshole for taking the spotlight to enforce my ethnicity and not just let the band sing our song for us. Am I the asshole?
Wait, what?
What?
They were Mexican and
He's Mexican, she's American.
She felt as by him performing that song, he was boasting his ethnicity and taking the attention away from her.
I guess so. By him singing the song instead of the band. I think your face makes a lot of sense right now.
I think that red flag might look a little fuchsia to him.
Yeah. Especially because it's on the wedding day. So, I mean, what can you do now?
No, well, anybody else got those? Because I don't.
that's why you can't marry white women.
Sam, what the heck?
Anywho,
I think you and I need to talk after this.
No,
break.
no, but for real, like, I think there is a thing where in interracial relationships, especially between, you guys are familiar with, between white people and other races, where you have to know what kind of white person you're getting a relationship with. Because I'm like, that. If someone's saying that to me, I'm like, I would have not gotten married. Like, what does this have to do with anything? Like,
Yeah.
I am a Mexican person. That's not going to change because I'm getting married to you. So I should be able to sing my culture. And something that is important to both of us. This was our first date. This is a song we've laughed about.
Right.
What are you on about? Because some white people will do that specific kind of thing where I'm like, you know?
Yeah.
I try to be a little bit understanding because I like to some degree, play devil's advocate and be a little understanding. But with that, it's kind of difficult because, every now and again you'll get like some off the wall bridezilla, but it's referencing like smaller things or I guess in some contexts, bigger ordeals. But to be upset about a song that you got, that's a part of like the fundamental parts of your relationship. I think that's a little bit just, I want to say childish behavior almost.
I think so too. I read this story and I was like, I didn't understand it. I didn't know if she was just trying to grasp for some type of she literally controlled the whole event. And from the way he was saying it, it sounded like she was kind of a little hard to deal with. So I wonder just the fact that there was just one thing that was out of her control was a problem. Yeah. And she just chose for it to be like that. And it ended up being taken in a horrible direction because why else would you be mad about that?
I guess that is a part I didn't even think about, the control aspect of her controlling the whole part of the wedding, and the guests liked it. So it's like the guests were like, "Oh, this was the best part of the wedding," and she's like,
I didn't even do that
only part that I wasn't a part of."
Exactly. So I feel like that has to do with it a little bit because it doesn't make sense for her to be upset about that because it was on their first date. Like, that's a memory between them. It's a really sweet song, sweet enough to make her mom cry over it because she's like, wow, this man is really gonna, cherish my daughter. I feel like that's the only thing that makes sense is the control freak thing.
I feel like it goes back to how well do you know your partner then? Because at this point, y'all, did they mention how long they've been dating before they got married?
No, but they're in their 30s.
I feel like you've had to have at least some amount of time to get to know each other, to know, like, what to expect from the person that you're dating.
Right.
If you're dating somebody that's kind of like, a little rambunctious, a little spontaneous, why would you be upset if that happened on your wedding day? I feel like that'd be a memory that you should be able to cherish and be like, hey, look, guess what your dad did?
Yeah.
Look what he did. He's singing to me.
And it was awful and off pitch, but loved every moment of it though.
Yes. And I think the top comment kind of gets where we're coming at. We all seem confused by that story. The top comment says, "Not the asshole. What a weird way to view what happened." Like, what a sentence.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was very confused.
It was
because I'm imagining everybody at the weddings, like everybody's clapping, they're like, "Yeah," and she's just stone faced in the middle, like, "What is this?"
So upset.
Like, I just want to know, like, was it a good performance? Was he just like loud and off key? Because even then, I'd probably be a little bit upset myself.
It sounded like it was really good, which is why it was enough to compete with the band. But I guess I don't want to completely push aside the other option that is potentially it could have genuinely been about his ethnicity. There's another comment here that says, "Agreed, her accusation is bizarre. I'm not sure what enforce your ethnicity actually entails.
Right.
I suppose she's implying what he's swinging around his heritage, like that's some kind of weapon." I don't know. Not the asshole. I don't know. It's a really weird story because I feel like it's, how there's just those situations, which I don't know if it's mainly with women. I feel like it can be men too, where they're upset about one thing and that's what they tell you they're upset about, but it's really a deeper issue. And I just feel like that's what this is, because it really confuses me as to what I'm like. I would be like, so you're mad that I sang a song to you on our wedding?
Yeah.
That had value too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's the part I didn't like, because I'm like, oh yeah, this is like a running joke throughout your relationship that you guys talk about. That is a romantic thing. Like, I remember that this is something that's important to us. I sang it to you. It's not like you did drop the thong song.
I'm all for like sentimental moments or just things that do happen in a relationship. So that's what really mind boggled me. How do you get mad at that? Like Sam was saying, it's something that was, had it been just a random song, I could understand like, why would you sing that? But it was something you guys both connected over. It was the first date.
Yeah.
That has so much sentimental value.
Yeah.
How would you not be able just to sit there and be like, wow, yeah, it's all coming full circle now. What? That is
Me personally, I am not a fan.
yeah.
Yeah, this is like if you guys got married and Maddie saying, "Can I get to the yams?" at the wedding,
And I was just
and you were
mad,
mad.
just angry,
You're like, no, this means a lot to us.
just upset for no reason. I couldn't even imagine, like, if she sang a song to me that we both were like really liked, even if it was a horrible like let's say she was doing a parody version of it.
Right, because most likely, let's be real, I'll be nervous and I will mess it up. Okay.
The Sims version, no, I might. Well,
Hey,
Oh, she starts
Sims
singing
version never
like,
fails.
no.
Simlish never
I'd
fails.
be mad too.
I would be like,
You
okay,
can't be saying
maybe.
Simlish over here.
But even if it was the worst like version of it, I still would have loved it, especially at the wedding. Either laugh, cry about it, one of the two. All happy though.
He's like, I would have been making fun of you in public, in private. We would have been laughing
Yeah,
about
you're
that for a
smiling like,
while.
we're going to talk about this when we get home. I'm happy now, but we're going to talk about this.
Okay. So, next story.
Oh, we're not recording.
Are we not? I wonder if that camera's just like overheated in general and it's just it's like giving us problems.
I feel like it's me.
It's not you.
It's never done.
Are you
this
sure?
before.
He said it's never done this
It's
before,
never
so I
done
got
this
here.
ever.
Well, I don't think it's you
This is
though.
a
We
new
kind of
development.
took forever for it to set up. Okay. So, next story. Am I the asshole? I insulted my wife. Wait.
I'm sorry.
He was having a moment. He said,
Oh, was he? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I get emotional. Proceed.
Am I the asshole? I insulted my wife in front of my family.
Yes.
Yeah. You are.
Proceed. I'm sorry.
Maybe.
We know where this is going.
Let's hear the facts.
wait, hold
By
on.
that title, yeah.
People judge
but,
too quickly.
If you
Yeah,
have
I
to
can only
ask,
see
maybe.
Sam's eye, and he said, maybe. Hear her out.
After we just said he's a manipulative gaslighter, he says, probably not. We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
There's two sides to every story.
Oh my gosh.
Am I the asshole? I insulted my wife in front of my family. I and my wife have been married for 8 years. She told me she wants to be a stay-at-home mom when we got married because she didn't like her job that much. I was okay with that since I earned enough for the both of us. My mom had to drop out of school because she lost her parents at a young age and she had to do manual labor to send her siblings to school. The Indian government then did not have any concessions for orphan kids. She had the choice to either go to school herself or send her siblings to school. And because of this, she dropped out in 8th grade as a 14-year-old. Both her siblings got employed in really good companies, and they took care of her since then until she got married. My dad passed away just 2 years after their marriage, and she had to take care of me on her own. Her siblings did help, but she worked 2 jobs along with that to support us both, edit herself and me. I was only a child. My father died while she was pregnant with me. Today, we had a family get-together. My mom, her siblings, each of their kids, daughters/sons-in-laws, grandkids, etc. After having dinner, my wife said we needed to leave early because our kids have to go to basketball, swimming, and also have tutor sessions tomorrow. My kids were begging her to let them stay a little bit longer. My mom asked my wife if they can miss one day of practice to spend time with family since the kids also must have missed their cousins after not having met them for nearly a year. My wife retaliated, saying an illiterate woman wouldn't know the importance of education and extracurricular activities. My mom was clearly hurt and apologized for overstepping. I told my wife that literacy clearly hasn't taught her any basic manners. My wife got mad at me for insulting her in front of everyone and went back home with the kids. She's not even picking up my calls or replying to my texts. Am I the asshole?
Oh, she lost all her mind.
I told you I was right, y'all. Y'all was against me.
Sam, that makes me mad because Sam was right. God dang it, Sam.
Even with that villainous look, he was correct.
He was
that
like,
makes me so mad.
he just looks, he's like, don't judge a book by its cover, guys.
No, he's like, don't judge a book by its cover. That's what he looked like for me.
Wait, so did she say that to the mom in front of everybody? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to know.
How disrespectful. Yeah, no. After hearing that, I was just like, wow.
That's such a wild thing to say. Oh my gosh. The thing to say about your mother-in-law, you would say, oh my gosh. That's crazy.
I literally can't even imagine me doing that to Brandon or Brandon doing that to my mom and us continuing our relationship. Like, that would be it.
Honestly, no offense, Maddie. I feel like Mama Gaines would take you out.
Probably.
I could just see it in the kitchen, just a tackle. That's about it.
Tackle.
I feel like my mom would have Brandon in a chokehold as she's like kicking him out of the house, which, as they should, the mother should take it at that point. Like that grandma should have been like, well, they did teach me how to fight, and then just get in there.
Man, the thing that really gets me is just maturity in age. That reaction just, okay, might overstep some bounds. Maybe she might be really nice. Who, if that was me, someone talked to me that crazy? I don't care how old I am. You catching hands. That's it.
Well, even the fact of how much he talks about how his mom is a very giving person. She sacrificed a lot of herself and a lot of potentially her opportunities to push her siblings, her kids, and probably even now, like, she probably still has that, tendency. She just sounds like a very giving woman. So to even speak to like a rude person with that much disrespect, but to speak with, like, you should respect like your person, your, significant other's parents. Like, that's, I'm so shocked by that interaction.
I don't know. I feel like there's pieces of it missing to just say something like that, just unprovoked. I feel like there might have to be some underlying issues that are not being disclosed. Mm-hmm. Because nobody's just going to up and just talk to someone in such I don't know. Some people do live life on the wild side. But I just feel like something might be missing to just randomly just be like, oh, I'm going to disrespect you and think nothing else of it. I feel like there has to be some sort of, like, maybe they have some type of situation going on behind the scenes that the son don't know about. Mm-hmm. Maybe the son do know about it and he's just playing delusional. I don't know. I'm seeing both sides. Like, yes, it's disrespectful and, like, why would you do something like that? But at the same time, it's like, why did you do that, though? Mm-hmm. Like, are we missing something?
Yeah.
I think I always go on this gripe about how you only get one side of the Reddit story. And now that you bring that up, that makes a lot of sense. Because we only get the side
from his perspective.
Yeah, he's hurt.
Well, I guess that's where well, you're right. I'm trying to think about what could happen on the other side where she could say, hey, you can't read, and maybe you don't feel like, you can't read good, so why do I care about your opinion? Unless, they do, like, the mother-in-law and her, like, have, like, a catty thing, and this was just another thing in their war that keeps escalating over the years. But even then, I'm like, I'm not gonna say that in front of people. I'll say that to my husband when I get home. And like, man, your mom, man, she can't read, dude. Why does she care about education? She don't know how to read. She even go past 8th grade. Like, that's the stuff you say in private, but you don't say that in front of everybody. You don't need to say everything in front of everybody. That's my thing. Yeah. There's times where you can say, we all say petty stuff, but you're like, you got to know your audience and who you're saying it in front of. I'm not saying that in front of her.
And on top of that, you don't have to say everything that comes to your head.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ain't that the truth?
Because, like, I'm just being honest. That's what people follow on.
I feel like
I'm just telling the truth.
I feel like that was kind of strategic of the mother-in-law for that to be her reaction. Just because, I'm still kind of just like, on the what ifs, because I'm just like, to only just be like, okay, I overstepped my boundaries. I apologize. And then just make the wife just look like awful in front of the whole entire. It was just like, oh,
Chess.
But that's how you gotta play it.
Chess.
I'm like,
She's in the end game now.
it's good.
she's like, I got emotional intelligence. I know what to say.
What was that movie that I won't say Jennifer Lopez was in?
Where
I
she
think
was
it's called
being
Mother-in-Law.
abused and they shared a kid.
No, that was enough. Mother-in-law, monster-in-law,
Oh,
monster-in-law.
Oh, yeah.
Jane Fonda.
I feel like
yeah.
I feel like it's kind of might be potentially that
Yes.
dynamic.
Because you're like, y'all don't know what she's really like because she doesn't act like that in front of her. She's smart.
Right.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Literally, both of you.
All right, we got to get through this
Yeah, last story.
last story before these cameras are dying.
They're like, stop recording, please.
Okay.
I'm fading.
Am I the asshole for crying at dinner on purpose to embarrass my dad and brother?
Yes.
I feel like this
Yes.
is going to be funny. It's something I would do.
I'm going to say no.
No? Okay. Am I the asshole for crying at dinner on purpose to embarrass my dad and brother? I know the title sounds ridiculous, but there's context, okay? I'm currently in high school and I live with my dad and brother. My mom's not in the picture anymore. While I'm not very close with my father, he's not a bad dad. He's just a little old-fashioned, so he's probably closer to my brother. They have a lot of the same hobbies. On to the problem. I don't know how it started, but for the past couple of months, both my dad and my brother will start teasing me about the time of the month. Anytime I get remotely irritated or upset at them. For example, my brother ate a snack of mine that I was saving, and when I got mad, he just joked, "Oh no, it's that time again," in a super annoying voice. I kept trying to tell them separately and together that it's really annoying and offensive, and I feel like they're totally minimizing how I feel about things. I feel I had valid reasons for being annoyed about. They just brush it off even more and chalk it up to my period, no matter what time of the month it is. Well, yesterday we had dinner with the whole family on my dad's side for my aunt's birthday. Before the dinner, I got in a huge fight with my brother because he broke my iPad, and instead of apologizing, he just said, "Oh, that time of the month again?" I can admit that by that time we got to my grandma's house, I was pretty pissed. My cousin asked me what was wrong during dinner, and before I could explain, my brother interrupted and he said, "Oh, just lady problems." I usually just ignore him or hold things in, but I had enough and I just started bawling. I can admit that I kind of went ham on purpose to cause a scene, and it freaked my whole family out. My aunt asked my dad why I was so upset, and when he didn't know, I told my aunt, "It's just lady reasons according to my dad and my brother." My aunt and grandma were pissed at my dad and brother, and they totally got reamed at the dinner table. It was a whole thing, and I could tell they were really embarrassed. Later that night, my brother and dad said that I was an asshole for causing a scene and embarrassing them, but I said that I was just acting how they always say I do. I guess I didn't have to do it during dinner, but it wasn't like I planned it. Yeah, no, I totally think that's ridiculous, and I understand why she's really bothered by that, and I'm happy that her aunt and grandma stood up for her, because the fact that her dad is doing that, I mean, depending on how you're raised, like, the brother doing that, totally uncalled for, but he could have been corrected by his dad, but the fact that his dad was, like, encouraging it, that really bothers me, and I'm not surprised that she started crying, because that probably would really upsetting all the time to complain about something and trying to work through an issue and feel like you're being heard, and then constantly being dismissed because of something that you have to go through because you're a woman, because it does affect your emotions, but it's not like you're an emotional wreck
Right.
anytime and always because you have that time of the month. So yeah, that's pretty ridiculous and upsetting, and I get why she did that, and she's not the asshole.
I think she should have gone for the Oscar. 'Cause, I think that's totally uncalled for, and honestly, it's probably something I would have done if I was in her shoes. I would have definitely gone for the Oscar that night. I would have made you feel so horrible, traumatized you in that sense, just so that you'll learn a lesson. Because if you don't learn it now, and apparently dad's single for a reason. Mm-hmm. And brother, if you if you wanna end up like your father, I guess you gonna have to get some things situated and fixed right now,
Right.
before you try to entertain somebody else. Because lo and behold, I think crying would be the least the next girl would be doing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't concur. I don't agree at all.
Yeah, that shakes me to my core. Like, bro,
He's without words.
I'm literally speechless. Yeah, I am, because it's something that's uncontrollable. Mm-hmm. Why would you weaponize that?
Yeah.
I don't think she is. I think she should have went for that Oscar.
And now I think about it, I'm just like, it first started with the snacks. Now, if somebody ate my snacks, I'd be emotionally upset about that.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, if
But
you, the iPad, I'm still upset about the snacks.
The snacks are the problem.
Like, dare you touch my sweet chili Doritos and then say I'm sensitive about it? Heck yeah, I'm sensitive about my sweet chili Doritos. Shoot, that just grind my gear. I feel like I'm gonna have an attitude on my way back home.
He said they better be there.
And let me text you.
And the dad doing all that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the most problematic part. Because as a parent, you're supposed to teach your children.
Right.
And the fact that
Well, you
you're
obviously
teaching
don't know.
the men in your household
Yeah.
that's a horrible foundation to have.
So, Joe, thank you so much for joining us for the Comfort Level podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much for having me. I feel like a part of the family.
Yes.
That's my twin, man.
I'm phoning. Twin.
Oh. So yeah, we will see you guys next week with another episode of the Comfort Level podcast. Will Sam be on the podcast?
We
Find
don't
out
know.
next time.
Yeah.
You'll never know.
Joe, could you sing us out?
All right.
Y'all can pick up my mixtape. It's dropping in a couple weeks here. I just find out I ain't got no mixtape.
Oh, okay. All right. So we'll see you guys later.
Oh, you said sing out. Amazing grace.